January 3rd, 2024. You know, I've met a lot of people in my life that don't like to hear the truth. They would rather you lie to them and live in some blissful world where reality doesn't strike them. But I'm not one of those people. And so when there's a real problem, I'm going to show it to you. We have a problem, Houston. We have a bug problem. Now, what exactly are they? I believe they are aphids. I could be wrong. They could be whiteflies. It could be something else. I just discovered them today on both this lettuce. This is that rosa, red rosa, or whatever. And also on the mesclun mix. They were fully infested, fully involved in the mesclun mix. I'm sorry I didn't get a video clip of that, but I just wanted to get that out of here immediately. And honestly, what I should do with this is take this whole bin outside in the cold and let it freeze out and just get these bugs out of here. So, it's heartbreaking, you know, when you have beautiful lettuce like this, you want to eat a salad. None of this is on here last night, so this population has exploded overnight. So, I'm not sure what that is. I'm not sure why that is. Except I would say our soil is probably off on some level, at least for growing lettuce. It might be way too hot in nitrogen. That's very likely, given that this KISS organic soil mix was designed primarily for cannabis initially. And I've just kind of adapted it over as a general purpose base mix. So I have two options at this point. And I'm debating still right now which one I'm going to do. I'm going to take this out in the cold and freeze it out, or because this is a grow lab and because one of the things that I've wanted to conquer for so long is bugs, am I going to fight it? I think I'm going to fight it. I'm just going to tell you right now, I had another set of plants this last month and a half that got an aphid infestation that I tried to beat out using foliar feeds. Now granted, I don't have some tools available to me that we would in a large scale setting. I don't have plant sap analysis on this scale. It's just way too expensive, like to even get enough plant leaf material together for a plant sap analysis. You need a quart of new leaves and a quart of old leaves. So that's not an option here. Soil testing, I should do that at some point. That's on my list this year. Once some of these mixes cook down, I do want to do some tests and see where we fall. Not too expensive to do. But in the interim, in the short term, we need to deal with the pest management issue. Now, I told you about that whole foliar feed fiasco that I tried. I was unsuccessful. That does not waver me from understanding how the plant health pyramid works. And I think I'll insert a clip right here so you can be on the same page with me and understand the context in which this conversation is existing. Or this discussion, I guess, because this is really just me talking. But, so, all that said, all that encompassed, I know some excellent growers all around the world, and we go back and forth all the time, and have for many, many years. And one product they recommended to me that they use for cannabis, and they swear by for cannabis, both for preventing bud rot and botrytis and insect attacks, is a product called Pure Crop. And I was very skeptical and hesitant at first. But I did try one dose of the Pure Crop down on that group of plants that I was having trouble with. It seemed to alleviate the problem initially. Now they recommend to reapply once a week in the form of basically a foliar drench. And I did not follow that up. I was trying to beat it with nutrition because I really wanted to balance that nutritional component and fix the root cause of the problem. I failed miserably in that and ended up exporting those plants out in the cold and destroying them. And that's okay. That's a good lesson learned. I don't mind that. You know, some people would be really heartbroken by that. I'm not attached to the outcome. I'm attached to learning what I can glean from each failure. To me, every failure is an opportunity to learn. And so that's what this is all about. And I apologize if I babbled on for a long time about this, but I feel like this is something other people should have this perspective on, or at least have heard this perspective. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like this is a good one, because we learn a lot from our mistakes, and we can learn how to avoid those mistakes in the future when we make them, because we can go down the mistake pathway, as I like to call it. The pathway of, I make mistake A, and I follow down the pathway of all the results of that, and I find out what happens when I make mistake A. And that paints in a very clear picture for us in the future of why we don't go down path A. Maybe we have to go B or C or D. But you get my point. Alright, I babbled on enough. I think I've said enough context for this. I'm going to grab the peer crop out, and before I do that, let's just go take a look at another issue here in the grow room, which is pivoted my decision and driving part of my decision, because you need to understand why I make the decisions I make in a specific grow environment. Remember, anytime we're working in a grow environment, we're always working for, very specifically, the plants that we're working with, in the soil that we're working with, in the environment that we're working with. We can never eliminate any of those pieces and expect to have success. Okay, so we've set some more context. Now we're back over here. I've never grown okra before. These okra look like they're doing well to me. They're blowing up some giant leaves. They're growing at a phenomenal rate. I thought they were doing good. But something's not right. So we have a bug problem here too. How about these peppers? I got bugs on my fingers now. You can see how easily you can transfer bugs around a grow room? Or egg sacs. I don't even know what these guys are. I don't know if they're alive either. And I don't care. Because we're going to come back with some pure crop. And I know this tree had some struggles with, well, I mean, we can see some of the sticky sap here from aphids. And who knows, maybe we still have an aphid problem and I just have failed to notice it. That's a distinct possibility. Or maybe this tree's health has come up because I don't see it on the new leaves. I don't see any bugs on the new leaves. And I don't offhand see any egg sacs. Those can be really easy to miss. What is that there? That's a speck of dust maybe. But yeah, but you can see we definitely had aphids and bug infestations on here, and we can very clearly see the sap left over from that. Oh my god, that is so sticky. That's all, that sheeny, sticky surface there is all plant sap that came off of that tree from chewing aphid type insects. And that's exactly what they do. They extract, well, they chew the sap, right? They go after the nitrogen, I think, and some of the sugar. But if the sugar content is too high for these chewing type bugs, that sugar will actually kill them like within a couple seconds. So if the sugar levels are low enough and the nitrogen levels are high enough, there's like an amino acid profile or something that they're after that they get out of that. And anyway, what they poop out is that sticky crap right there. So that's all insect crap. So that tells us how heavily infested this tree was, or maybe still is in some form. Yeah, see, that's the other thing with these bugs. I mean, if we're going to talk about them, let's talk about them, right? That's the other thing with these bugs, right? You go over a tree and you think that all the bugs are gone after you know, like say you clean this off, right? And we didn't have any aphids left on here. I still see, yeah, we got at least egg sacs here, right? I don't know if those are alive or dead. They're pretty sticky. They're probably dead. But so that's one of the things, right? The life cycle, right? So they could not be on the tree, but they could have reproduced, laid eggs in the soil or on the tree. You can see like that. They can lay eggs right on the other side of a leaf and you won't even notice it unless you're looking for it and know what to look for, and then you gotta know how to cope with it. So that whole bug cycle can go on. So that's why when we do pest management, especially in a controlled grow environment, one of the things we always try to integrate into our management of plants in general and our practices in general is something called IPM. That's integrated pest management. And that's where we're trying to take a holistic approach where we eliminate places of debris, like we talked about in one of the videos that I just released. We talked about when we're pruning, we clean up all these places where bugs can hide and disease can fester, right? And another thing we do is we try to stay on top of problems like this. Now, I have been remiss in caring for this tree, but I also knew that this tree had just gone into good soil and it was in a recovery process. I didn't realize how sick we were in here. I might have isolated this in the 4x4 tent separate until I dealt with this, had I known that. But we got what we got. We're at where we're at for now. So what we're going to do is cope with it. So I'm going to get some of the pure crop out. I'll give you a close-up clip of that. I'll tell you this stuff is expensive, but all the growers I know swear by it. They say it works for their cannabis plants, and I'm going to try it in here. It is, I believe, yes, OMR certified, so it's organically certified, and it's not a pesticide. It doesn't fall under conventional foliar feed, plant health enhancement like we do with the trace mineral nutrition when we do foliar feeds. That's very different. But it's similar, and we'll take a look at this and then I'll explain why it's similar and how I think it might work. So this is the stuff. Pure crop. So let's take a closer look. I think you can see the active ingredients are soybean oil, corn oil, other ingredients, 85%, for a total of 100%. Then when I first saw that, I thought, uh-oh, what's in that other 85%? But the other 85% is water, guar gum, glycerin, citric acid, soap, and vanillin. So it looks like what they've done here is put some insecticidal soap in here and suspended micronized or nanonized liposomal isolated, I'm thinking probably, corn and soy oil, and they put some citric acid in there probably to help distribute it, and I'm sure the guar gum and glycerin help spread it out. And the vanillin's probably for scent. It does have a fairly pleasant scent, actually. It smells like clean. It does smell a little weird in a grow room to have it smell sort of clean. But so anyway, so I think what it is basically is they're using the oils here, micronized, and those are available to the plant as a foliar feed and through the soil. The plant's able to take those up, and that basically gives it those fat compounds that it needs to reach a higher level of health. Because primarily when we do foliar feeds here, what we're trying to do is increase the energy levels, increase the available complex structures, right? So we're trying to make available to plants amino acids and plant secondary metabolites that are basically pretty well pre-assembled, so that when the plant takes them up, it has less assembly work to do. So if you can take an amino acid up instead of all the constituents, then you don't have to create the amino acid by yourself. You can just take and use that amino acid. It's much like us having tools, right? So that's a very long explanation about what we're doing here, but I thought I'd better explain it before I go put down some pure crop. And I didn't want to go and do this and not share this with my viewers because I just want to be transparent and real. You know, yes, you can have bug problems. The question is, how do you deal with it? And one thing you'll never see me do now, when I was younger I tried it, but you'll never see me do it now, is pull out a toxic substance and nuke something with a toxic substance. So this passes my standard for not being toxic. It rubs me the wrong way to use this instead of getting the nutrition dialed correctly. But It is a learning curve. It takes a long time to get really good at it. I have a huge variety of plants. There's a lot of factors here. And I'm just going to be transparent, show you what I'm doing, explain to you why I'm doing it. Anyway, I just wanted you to be a little more informed about what I'm doing. And I want to always be transparent with my viewers. I want you to always know that I'm just going to keep it real here at the Pharmacy Seeds Network. So keep your friends close and your farmers closer. Cheers. So I talked about the pest issue, but I'm going to incorporate in this foliar feed, along with the pure crop, I'm also going to incorporate some photomag. And just waiting to get a close look at that. You can see that's magnesium, sulfur, boron, cobalt, and molybdenum. And this product is specifically intended at increasing photosynthesis dramatically. And that's because of those trace minerals. That will also help us combat this issue, because what we have here is a lack of conversion of nitrate nitrogen down to nitrogen the plant can use. And I think it's nitrate nitrogen. I might have the type of nitrogen wrong, but it's a nitrogen buildup, right? The plant's unable to metabolize all the nitrogen that it's able to take up. And because it's unable to metabolize it, it stays in the plant sap, and that keeps the nitrogen level high in the plant sap, and that makes those chewing insects who are looking for that type of sap come in and chew on it. Now, it would be an interesting thing to take a look at these with FLIR camera, actually, because my understanding is that insects see in the infrared spectrum plants that are sick. And they can see them up to 2,500 yards away. Yeah, long ways away, and they stand out like bright red radar to them. So maybe what I will do is power the lights off at some point here, and we'll come back in and take a FLIR look at things and see if these stand out any different temperature-wise from other plants. Of course, the problem here is we don't have a healthy lettuce plant to compare against, so it's going to be hard to make that comparison. And I don't know how much justice my FLIR camera will do this, and especially in this environment, we have a lot of other radiant heat sources around us. We got warm soils, we got light systems and fans and all, but we'll take a look at it, we'll give it a try, and we'll see. But I'll have to shut lights off for that, and I think I'm going to do that later. No, I better do that now. Alright, so I let everything cool down for about 10 minutes after I shut the lights down. So, we'll take a look back at this lettuce crop here and see. Well, it sure doesn't stand out specifically to me. What else are we looking at here for plants? Interesting how we see different leaf temperatures in different spots. What is this? This is, oh, that's the beets, which of course get warm as soon as I touch them. So, anyway, the infrared spectrum is a wide range of spectrum. We're only looking at a certain portion of that spectrum, and we're really only able to observe emissivity on a certain level. So it may be that we just can't distinguish between those. And also, we don't have any reference. We have no way to calibrate what's healthy, what's not. So, not enough understanding yet on that concept. But it's interesting to at least be able to explore this spectrum and consider that perspective, right? If you can imagine if you were a bug and you look over and the plant that tastes good to you stands out to you, like my hand does, bright colored against the background. Well, that sick plant's going to stick right out to you, and you're going to zone right in on it, aren't you? So, that's what's happening with insects. Don't believe me? I'll throw a link down below. Tom Dykstra does a 4-part series on advancing eco-agriculture about how bugs, this is a new emerging theory right now, about how bugs aren't smelling plants necessarily, but they're actually detecting plant compounds spectrally. And he seems to be proving that theory out pretty well. So I'll throw a link to that here too. I told you, 2024, we're going to bring it to you this year. Well, so there you have it. We shut them down and we took a look. Working on with this pure crop application and some foliar feed work in here now. I just thought I would show you the lights coming back on because I don't think you've actually had a chance to see lights coming on and off yet. There we go. Plugged in. This one I have on a timer, and external makes it run anyway because I have the wireless controller powered on. So I just had to unplug it. It's the easy way. Alright, let's get a foliar drench down on this stuff, and then I'm sure there's more work to do in here. I have to come back in and assess after we get the next phase. Alright, been a couple of hours, been doing a bunch of editing and filming, put together some new Fleur videos. Those are actually edited and uploaded, pending release probably tomorrow or within the week. While I was in here, everything was wet from foliar feeding, so I just came in here with my mop and just touched up a little bit. I like a pretty clean, it's still dirty, but it's cleaner than it was, so that's a step in the right direction. I gotta come back and throw some water down these beets. I did not put the foliar drench down on them because they're just seeds, and I didn't really want to. That foliar drench was fairly strong. I did 15 milliliters to the container, which is about 1.25 gallons. So I don't know, I'll call that what, like 10 or 12 milliliters to the gallon roughly. If you work in ounces, 15 milliliters is about half an ounce. 1 ounce, 1 fluid ounce is 29 point something milliliters. It's almost 30 milliliters. Just if you're trying to convert what I'm running and figure out what to run. Let's see, the sweet Thai basil is doing good. I came back in here to talk about things. Oh, right. So, yeah. So, clip. So, I put down a foliar drench, the pure crop. I did everything with pure crop and photomag in here, the exception of the beets. Those are just seeds in there. I'm going to come back and hit them just with a watering can and get them some water. But I went pretty strong on that foliar feed on the photomag side of things, and I didn't want to overdo it on a seedling, so that's why I did not hit the beets. Everything else I hit. Lettuce, beets, Texas tarragon. I know they look horrible right now, don't they? That soil's still cooking in. We got new shoots popping in from below too. I might prune those back and let them regrow clean. Rosemary, gingers, I do the sweet potatoes. Those have some kind of infestation. You can see on the leaves on them, so I soaked them too. I mean, I did everything. And an extra heavy drench with that on the okra peppers in here, and also on the lemon tree, because now we've discovered there's definitely an issue on a lemon tree. I kind of knew that was going on, seeing all the sap on there and all, but I wasn't sure if we had started to conquer the problem or where we were at. But I see new growth coming on healthy. I don't see that problem there now. We'll do the pure crop as sort of an insurance plan, and the photomag as a photosynthetic booster. You can see we already have explosive growth going on here, but with the photomag, that's going to be able to accelerate even more. We can take the maximum advantage of the light and the photons that were raining down on these plants from these light arrays. I mean, you got to remember, we are raining massive photons on. Let's use them. Use them. So, there you go. Like I said, it's been a couple of hours. I apologize for the rough camera work. It's been a couple of hours. They've been hit. I don't know. I still see eggs on there. I don't know what those are. But we'll see what it does. The Pure Crop recommends once a week as maintenance, like half-strength dose, like 1 ounce per gallon. I think I'm going to incorporate that in here on most of the larger plants, flowering, fruiting plant stuff. Probably will not maintain that on lettuces and stuff unless I find it's really necessary. Don't like putting all kinds of stuff on a crop other than nutrients. I really prefer only foliar feeds, and then at least if there's some residue left on a crop, I'm just eating nutrients. I feel much better about that than I do other things. I know this is organic, OMR certified, 0 days to harvest, so I feel a little better about it than I would anything else, but I still, it's not what I want to do. It's not how I want to handle it. But here we are. So that's the update tonight. You've heard all about the bugs and the mess. It doesn't really rhyme with birds and bees, but you get the idea. So I hope you found this interesting or informative. Thanks for watching the Pharmacy Seeds Network as always. I hope you'll like, share, and subscribe, and look forward to seeing you in the next video. If you're new to the channel, check out my channel. There's a tremendous amount of information on here. I've been working since 2016, making all kinds of videos. Greenhouses, ram pumps, Raspberry Pi, coding, wiring, sensors, thermal siphons, thermal mass systems, grow tents, FLIR cameras, down the list. Go check it out. If you've been here a while, you know all about that. I appreciate you being here, supporting the channel. And if you want to become a member, that'd be awesome too. If you don't, that's okay too. Just glad to have your support. Thanks for watching the Pharmacy Seeds Network. I'll give you one last shot of these black crim just after their transplant. Foliar feed, watering, soil top-up, and love over the last few days. And what do we see here? Robust, explosive growth. Erect, strong, healthy leaves that stand up. And such fast growth that they're curling. We got our first flowers starting to pop. I'm pretty sure I saw one starting to unfurl over here too, but maybe not just yet. So I will leave you with that.